And isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing how you can give this information out to people that you know who live in TV world when they tune in every day and get their downloading of trivia, indoctrination, and political correctness. And you can give it to them and it just bounces off them because they really believe it does not concern them. Those people are gone. They are gone. They are the dead. They're the walking dead. And people have been complaining for years that you can't wake them up. And I agree. There's no point in trying to wake them up. The amount of information you can gather and pass on has to be given out to the right people. Don't waste your energy on the walking dead. Because as soon as they agree with you, they'll be back into the television and just gone into la-la land. It triggers them. They go into la-la land. If that TV comes on with the regular shows, the world must be just okie-dokie, just fine, just swell, as they used to say. And you'll be called a raving lunatic for talking about stuff that makes them so uneasy. They don't like to be uneasy. An egocentric society has been created where they will always avoid pain, any kind of pain, that's emotional pain too, and seek pleasure. That was pushed from the 50s onwards, from Tavistock and its minions, and it's never ceased. Most people truly will look for any escape from pain, mental pain and discomfort, and seek pleasure, anything to distract them for another half hour or an hour on television so they can laugh. The problem is we've had the Pentagon in the U.S. and the Canadian taxpayer funding these anti-terrorist dramas that are all over the place. And the average Joe is sitting watching this stuff every night. They get hooked into the drama, they get hooked into the human story, and they're being brainwashed quite easily, and they lap it up. And now they're starting to actually emulate, mimic what they see. They're turning in their own relatives when they hear them use these terms, these phrases, these little comments that they're making. You must have something wrong with you. You're anti-government.
Absolutely.
And I've been telling people for years, be careful, be very careful, because it's always those that you know who turn on you and turn you in. You know.
That is the most amazing part of it, because I've been, scared of monitoring and CIA and cameras and guns, and you don't even need that.
No.
Your family and friends will turn you in for knowing the truth.
That's right.
So how do we balance this, Alan? When you know the truth, how do you balance, talking to people that could be effective or talking to the dead? How do you know? How do you judge it? Like when you talk to somebody, what do you say first off?
I'll say simple things.
To make sure they're not going to be an enemy.
Very, very simple things. Just a couple of sentences generally tells you where their headspace is, and I don't waste my time on them if there's nothing. If there's no light in the eyes, I don't waste my time.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't afford it these days, but also I separate from relatives. Hang on the line, I'll be back with more after this break.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
Hi folks, this is Alan Watt cutting through the Matrix, and I think we've still got our ex-prisoner on the line here, the man that was turned in by his own relatives and left to deteriorate in a hellhole of a prison there.
Yes, sir.
Until he saw the light and the error of his ways.
Yes, sir. Arrest. Apparently that means arrest from what you were previously doing.
Yes,
just talking too much. I was curious if you have, I know you've addressed this, but I would just like at the moment a comment about it. When you encounter people or you know people that know what's going on, they know what's up, and their conclusion is, dude, you can't do anything about it, so just shut up and go make money, get a girlfriend, relax, forget about spreading this truth bullshit, stuff.
Yeah.
What do you say to these people that you know, that they know the agenda, but they're still, their conclusion of it is, you're so small. And it is the truth. I don't have an army. You don't have an army.
Yeah. What it is, I just forget them all altogether because they're the same. They'll also turn you in, those same people. They play safe. They always play safe right to the bitter end. And when the bitter end is coming upon them, they'll go into a state of shock and disbelief.
Yeah.
Because each one of them thinks it's a long-term agenda, and it'll be worse after I'm dead. They all seem to think that. They're very optimistic in that regard.
Oh yeah, I have friends that say, you know, that there's nothing you can do about it. Never can, never will. So just live your life. Basically, be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares about it? And it is so overpowering. I mean, you realize they've been planning this for centuries.
Yes. You got to remember.
So really, I actually want to know this, Alan, in your head, because you know how deep it goes, like the depths from history, all the hidden stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if they've been planning things and they have the world that organized, even from space, these scalar weapons and nuclear satellites and everything, you know, all that, and diseases they can let loose. What motivates you? Why is it you do what you do? Because could we ever really have an effect? Won't our even names be wiped out from the history books?
It's very possible, but here's the thing. We forget that we've never ever had such a recent time in history as we have had where we had any rights at all. Having rights is a recent phenomena. In the 1700s, you had up until then, no one had any rights. The king granted rights, and the king made sure there was a rigid structure, and any lord across Europe, right into the 1700s, could slaughter any peasant, which they called a villain, for any reason, even a bad mood or a bad hair day, and get away with it. There was no laws on any books to punish that man.
Right.
And so you've only had a very short period of time that came the sacrifice of many, many men to get rights at all, and they were right up into even the labor unions to get decent working wages, etc., so you could buy those cars and have a decent home for the first time in your life. So it's happened before where people have, and although it takes a time for this big locomotive to
Wait,
gain.
So that actually happened by the people? I thought that was just a joke of the American experiment, was just to tell people they had rights when they didn't.
Oh, the people themselves fought for them. They fought the Rockefellers. They did have armed conflicts, and the Rockefellers did turn out militias and gun down hundreds of families. That happened in the United States, but it did not stop the people who kept coming back in different guises, different forms, and pushing. And it really was that. It's really that phenomenon they're pushing against at the top now to stop it from going any further. But so it's happened before. It's happened before where people can gradually, over a long period of time, start gaining rights. And so even though we seem to be under such intense weaponry today, psychological threats, and goodness knows what else they're doing to us, there's always that hope. Now, I've never said that we could save the system. I don't want to save a system that is totally corrupt.
No doubt.
You can't do it. It's like the Tower of Babylon is held together by Band-Aid. It's so broken. You can't put any more Band-Aids on it and keep the same corruption in existence. Whatever happens is some of us will come through, and all we can do is keep and retain memory and teach another generation after we come through it, so that this will not be repeated again.
Do you actually believe that that's possible? Do you actually believe that that's possible? Because it seems that the way they've organized it is that they're going to be robots, and they're going to assassinate everyone who is not a literal robot.
Yeah, we will definitely go through a hell of a hard time, but not everyone will go under. Not everyone will get caught and succumb.
So you think there's certain mountains or pastures where you can have a safe haven?
Yes,
somewhere.
There are. And there's no doubt about it. You can train yourself too. You can train your thoughts so that you cannot be detected in certain places. And
I would love that. I'm actually, what's concerning me, it's a double-edged sword you talk about on the internet. They already know my name and everything I do, my MySpace page, my email, my phone number.
Yeah.
They're studying who I am right now because I just called you.
Of course.
So what the hell do I do with that? Like, it's like, you communicate with people by these means, but yet you don't want to be noticed, but I'm already on the list. whatever they call it.
Yeah, if we're on the list, it's very possible.
Everybody who calls your show is probably on the list.
Yeah, it's very possible we'll all get wiped out. But there again, the amount of people you've touched and taught already will go through unscathed. And it might be up to them eventually to carry it on to the next level. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the fact is we all have to carry this torch. And in some ways we have no option. Some of us have no option here.
Yeah.
We definitely have a destiny to fulfill here.